All right, let's talk about something you've probably seen happen a million times after a breakup. It really seems like girls just bounce back, sometimes with incredible speed, while guys are left kind of scratching their heads. But is what we see on the surface, on social media and all that, is that the whole story?
I mean, this is the big question, right? It's a feeling a lot of people have had. It can seriously feel like a switch just flips, and boom, their life is moving forward without you. So, what's actually going on behind this super fast recovery?
So, what's the first clue we usually see? Well, it's almost always social media, isn't it? Suddenly, their feed is just full of happy pictures, out with friends, new places, new hobbies. It looks like this big declaration that, hey, the past is already in the rearview mirror.
And it's not just their Instagram feed. You might see them in person too. And the smiles, they seem to come back really quick. The laughter sounds real. And all of it just feeds this idea that, well, maybe it just didn't hurt them as much.
So you add it all up, the photos, the smiles, this whole forward motion, and it's easy to jump to one simple conclusion. They're just okay sooner. But, and this is a big but, this is exactly where we start to get the story wrong.
And this quote right here, this is the core idea we're going to unpack today. See, it's not about who loved more or who hurt less. It's about two totally different things happening at the exact same time: an external recovery and an internal memory. Okay, so first things first, let's just bust this whole myth of moving on. What does that phrase even mean? Because I can tell you it's not what most people think it is. See, here's the thing you gotta understand. Moving on isn't about forgetting. It's not like you just wipe the hard drive. It's about acceptance. It's about finally getting to a place where you can say, okay, that chapter is closed. And here's the really crucial part. It's often the last step of a long, long journey, not the first. And that right there, that explains why everything seems to happen at lightning speed. For a lot of girls, there's this deep awareness of all the little shifts in a relationship. The distance, the change in tone. The grieving doesn't start the day things end. Nope. It starts the second those first little cracks start to show. Which brings us to this really heavy idea. The idea of grieving the relationship while you're still in it. It's not this one big dramatic event. It's this painful, gradual process, what some people call the slow breaking.
And this timeline? Wow, this really breaks it down. It's not one big explosion. It's more like a death by 1,000 cuts. Every single shortened text message, every hug that feels more like a habit than a feeling, every promise that just kind of fades away, those things aren't just brushed off. They're felt, they're internalized, and they're grieved right then and there.
So you can imagine, right? By the time you get to that final conversation, that it's over moment, the emotion isn't really shock anymore. It's just exhaustion. All the heavy emotional work has already been done quietly for weeks, maybe even months. The official breakup is just confirming what the heart already knows.
Okay, this next part is super interesting. It helps explain how someone can seem totally fine on the outside, but still be carrying everything on the inside. It all comes down to the difference between function and meaning.
Let's break this down because it's a game changer. On one side, you have moving on. Think of this as function. It's a choice to get up, to go to work, to see friends, to rebuild your life. It's survival. But on the other side, you have remembering. That's all about meaning. And that's not a choice at all. It happens automatically. It's just part of being human. And they can both exist at the same time. I just love this quote, "Emotions leave fingerprints." It's such a perfect way to put it. You can clean up a room, right? You can make it functional again. But the fingerprints of what happened there, they're still there. They're traces of a real, emotional connection that you can't just wipe away. So if remembering isn't just about the facts, then what is it? How does our brain actually hold on to these things? Well, let's dig into the really unique way our emotional memory works. Think about it like this. You've got your logical memory, right? That's the part that knows this happened on a Tuesday, it remembers the events. And over time, that stuff fades. But then you have emotional memory, and that is a whole different beast. It doesn't store facts, it stores atmospheres. It remembers how you felt, the safety of a hug, the sound of their voice. And that kind of memory, it doesn't fade. It becomes a part of you. And that's exactly why, maybe years down the road, something totally random can just hit you. A song that comes on the radio, the smell of fall in the air, a phrase someone uses. These aren't just little trips down memory lane.
They're your brain activating this really deep emotional data that's been stored away.
All right, so with all of that in mind, let's circle back to where we started, those first observations of the quick recovery, the cutting all contact. We can look at those things now through a completely different lens.
So you have to ask yourself, what if what looks like cold detachment from the outside isn't coldness at all? What if it's actually the complete opposite? Is it a sign that she didn't care? Or is it a sign that she cared so much she had to protect herself? Because that's what self-preservation really is at its core. It's about building walls, sure, but not out of hate or indifference. It's about protecting what's left of your heart from the slow, steady pain of staying connected to someone who's not choosing you anymore. And this quote, man, this says it all, doesn't it? The decision to leave isn't always because the love ran out. A lot of the time, it's because self-respect stepped in. It's about reaching that point where the cost of staying is just way higher than the pain of leaving.
So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. You can hold two truths at the same time. You can absolutely move on with your life. That's survival. And at the exact same time, you can carry the memories and the meaning of what you had, because that's just part of being human. And that leaves us with one final and I think really powerful thought to chew on. The next time you see someone move on quickly, maybe just pause. And instead of asking, did it mean nothing to her? Try asking a different question. Is it possible it meant so much that she had to start grieving you long before she ever said goodbye?